Hello, thank you so much for clicking on my video. It is Dr. Jacinta Mpali Nkanamori, your transformational coach and spiritual counselor. Today, I'll be sharing with you my take on the concept that the conclusion that you've lost anything is the work of the ego. It's the ego actually that convinces us that we've lost anything or something. And let me break it down for you. These are some of the facts to support my precept. Number one, everything that has a beginning has an end. Everything that comes goes. Everything that was ever born dies. There is nothing permanent. Even our bodies are not permanent. Even the earth that we live on is not ours. We found it here and we shall leave it here. So when you understand these facts, they're actually facts, then you realize that everything you have is just a facilitation. It's just something that is facilitating your existence at this time in creation. And as soon as you leave your body back to pure consciousness, to the source, you leave everything here. So everything is borrowed. Everything is just meant to facilitate your well-being. And in actuality, you do not own anything. We do not own anything. We have temporary facilitation. We have things temporarily. Let it be a house. Even if you spent a lot of money and built or bought your own house, it is only yours for as long as you are alive and you live in it. Even if you don't live in it, as soon as you exit your body, tell you what, that house is no more, is not yours. It will be passed on to the people you left it for. Even if it's a car, the car will be yours as long as it's functional, as long as you're driving it, as long as it's in your possession. But in reality, that car is wasting away. Everything changes, everything dies. Something about everything dies every single day. So the car you bought is not the car that you have 10 days later or 10 years later. So what you think you own is something that is dying. Let me even go to something more personal, more sensitive, like a person. Let's imagine that someone you love passes on. When someone you love passes on, you actually did not lose anybody. If you choose to define it that way, then it's going to trigger negative emotions. If you say I lost somebody, then that also meant that you own them, and you don't own anybody. You don't even own your body. This body that you have right now is a temporary garment, an expression, something that you have to express yourself in this dimension, in this short-term contract as a guest in this universe. The body is yours for now, but you say this is my body. Yeah, that's your body, but something that you own is permanent. Something that you own is forever. But just because the body dies and you leave, that's not yours. It's a temporary thing. It's a temporary arrangement. And to even reiterate, to add to that, we could say that I think what gets us to believe that we own things is attachment. We attach to things, and once you attach to something, it comes with beliefs that this is mine, this belongs to me, or this should be mine, this should belong to me. And with that mentality, then you create expectations that it will always be yours. But as soon as you do not achieve, the result is not as you expected, then you feel like you lost something. But in reality, everything is just as it is supposed to be without our perception. Considering that perception is what creates our reality, is what creates our experiences. If we choose to perceive things differently, then our experiences will be different. And also the way we define things like everybody else. We have almost a global way of defining things. Just because somebody came up with the word loss doesn't mean that you should use it for every time something doesn't work your way, or every time you do not achieve what you expected. Moreover, you invested a lot of money, or every time somebody you really love died. Yeah, they died, they left their body, but you did not lose them in the actual sense. They just left their body. You could instead choose to say, I miss them, I feel sorrowful, I feel pity, whatever you feel, or you feel grief. But if you add on another narration, another definition, oh, I lost this person, then you're empowering the ego, the mind, to trigger negative emotions. So it's really about choosing how to define our experiences. It's about detaching from things and staying away from the law of duality. And how do we do that? First of all, what's the law of duality? The way of duality works in a way that where there is good, there is bad. There is an opposite expression to every expression. Good meets bad, tall meets short. It's about comparisons at each end of the spectrum. So once we understand that we don't have to fall on any end of the spectrum, and we don't have to define things good or bad, we just have to be grateful for everything that comes into our lives as it is, no matter what it is. We don't have to define it. We don't have to assign meanings to it. We don't have to build on it, and we don't even have to create relationships with it by perceiving it and giving it attention. Because once you create a relationship by defining, perceiving, digesting, and accepting an event or a situation, then it's going to turn into a habit, a memory, then a subconscious belief or program upon which your life will run. Therefore, we have to avoid the impact of the law of duality by just being okay, open, attached to nothing, and open to everything, grateful for everything, and denying the ego that power we give it by recruiting, giving up our attention to anything that it presents in our minds. So I just wanted to share this with you so that you can be inspired to choose what to focus on, what to give your attention, how to define things or how not to define them, and choose your own experiences that are not globalized. It's about knowing that just because other people indicate, oh, I lost this, I lost that, even if it's a huge business. Let's imagine that you invested a lot of money in a business and then it crashed. If you can only leave it at that, my business crashed, full stop, and then you choose to retrieve the lessons, the reasons, or maybe understand that it was a season and then move on from there without assigning another definition or meaning that you lost it, because you're not required to say you lost it. You're not required. There is no universal law that propels you or forces you to indicate that you lost something or you lost anything, so it's about understanding that when the choices we make regarding our emotional temperatures, what we choose to focus on, what we choose to give our attention, and how we choose to feel make all the difference. All right, once again, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I appreciate you guys. I hope this inspires you, and I just want to remind you that everything that is a thing passes, and the only thing that is not a thing actually is you, the one who perceives and experiences things. You're the perceiver, you're the witness, you're the one who is aware of everything that is going on in your life. So you don't have to marry yourself and attach yourself to things, because your nature is not the nature of things. All right, I hope I was clear. Once again, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I appreciate you guys, and have an amazing holiday season. Bye.